Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, a two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And we're here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the managing editor of the Downey Patriot. And you're here listening and watching Talking Downey with Mario.
And Eric. Mario, what the heck is going on in Downey right now?
Oh my God, there's something in the water, Eric. What's going on?
I don't know. So we have a council member who may be recalled. We have another council member who just announced their resignation. We have no current mayor pro tem. Our city manager is on his way out. I don't want to say it's chaos, but it's...
I've never seen more instability at the top of the Downey leadership in the 40 years that I've been here in the city on this. So yeah. It's a little disheartening. It could be brought back on there, but it's really disheartening.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to touch on a few of these issues happening right now. I want to start with District 3 Councilwoman Catherine Alvarez. In the Downey Patriot reported that the recall effort came up just a little bit short. Actually 35 signatures short of triggering an election. I know you're close with the organizers of the recall effort. What's their thinking? How are they feeling? What happens from here?
Well, first of all, 35 signatures. 35 signatures short out of 4,090 that are turned in. So the one good thing that you got from that is the proof of concept is there. The residents of District 3 wanted the recall. 3,500 signatures were good. There were 35 short. So they've already filed an appeal with the county registrar's office, and they will be going through every single signature there to make sure whether they were valid or why they were invalidated, if you will. They say there's 131 that were duplicates. So that could be the low-hanging fruit for them to look at because there's, sometimes there's a, Mario Guerra and a Mario Guerra Jr. in the same household. So sometimes the registrar's office could be confused or overlooked at. But 35 is enough to give you some confidence that you can find those signatures. But I did talk to them this week, and these ladies are amazing, and they're dedicated, and they know what's good for Downey. And the residents are telling them to keep going. So they're ready to file recall 2.0, if you will, if the appeal is not warranted.
So in theory, if they try again with the recall, they already have 3,400 or so valid signatures.
Right.
So they could just go back and get those people to sign again.
Correct.
And just get an additional 35 signatures.
Correct.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
And they also know what they're doing now because, last year it was the rainy seasons, they had to go out and get everybody else, so they weren't organized. And now they're organized and they know what they're doing and they know who the signatures to get. So in concept, they have all the 3,400 and something, and all they need is 35 more to go out and get, but they'll probably go out and get another 1,000 on there, and they got some time to do it.
Interesting. I did read their letter in the Downey Patriot, and they sound they're not letting up. They're not going away. So it'll be interesting to see.
They're committed, and I'm glad they're committed to what they think is in the best interest of our resident. Again, we keep talking about this. It's amazing that there's somebody there now that's going to be, you talk about city manager, helping to pick the city manager, that's got a welfare fraud conviction, that's got 2 warrants for their arrest, and is banned from Michael's for shoplifting, that was arrested by the Downey Police Department, and now they're going to have a say on the city manager. Yeah, so they're committed to making sure that the residents know this stuff.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Big news this week. Mayor Pro Tem Sean Ashton announced he is resigning effective March 18th. He says that he has a job promotion, which is going to require him to leave the city council. I can't remember the last time a city council member from Downey resigned. What happens from here?
Well, if you read the city charter, because it's under a year left on the term, it's actually less than half of it, the city council will appoint somebody, or they can appoint somebody. And there'll still be a new election for District 2 in November with the general election. He was already termed out.
Right.
It is surprising that he did that, and he's been on Zoom for the last year and a half anyway, so I'm not sure with his promotion, maybe it's out of town or something, but for him to continue doing on Zoom, that's kind of interesting, and that it didn't happen. But what happens now, by the way, it did happen.
It did happen. It's funny. You read my mind. I think it was 2000, I think, or around there, when was it Joyce Lawrence?
Joyce Lawrence.
Resigned, and the city council appointed Barbara Riley.
Correct.
To be on the council. Who, it was interesting, she had already served 2 terms, and she was appointed to the remainder of the term because the city charter does allow that. So there is precedent for resignations and that kind
Well, let me also give you the little background on that, because it's a little bit of probably Downey history. So in 2000, when Joyce Lawrence stepped away, so including Meredith Perkins in the council, they were ready to appoint somebody that was running in that November's election. So Kirk Kartosian, former Mayor Kirk Kartosian, and he was a teacher at Downey High School, was already planning on running for that seat too, with his friend Roger Brosmer, also former mayor. Okay, this is prior to that, so that was in 2000. So they went to the council meeting, okay, and made their case publicly that the council should consider appointing somebody that wasn't going to be running in that election in November, because the power of the incumbency is true. You get name recognition, people think you're already in office.
Right.
So Meredith Perkins, Mayor Meredith Perkins, my friend and my mentor, okay? This is before, rest in peace, God bless him, I love the man. So openly on the dials, he says, that's a really good point. They changed their minds. So what happened is, the next meeting, they appointed former Mayor Barbara Riley, which the Barbara Riley Center is named after. She already been termed out, but the way our charter reads, you can't appoint somebody that's been termed out. So she served out the rest of the term, and not coincidentally, but because of hard work, Kirk Kartosian won the seat, which would have been on there, and then the rest is history. He became mayor, and then after that, his friend Roger Brosmer became mayor and got elected too. So a little bit of Downey history for everybody.
Interesting, and there is a lot of logic to appointing somebody who has experience, a former council member, and I'm not going to make you say it, but I think you would be a great person in that seat.
That's nice of you.
But we'll see. But I think I agree with you. You know, appointing somebody who's running for that seat does give them an advantage when they're running in November. But overall, so the city council, the current city council, is going to consider appointing somebody to fill out the rest of Sean's seat.
Right.
And what's interesting is this person, right off the bat, is going to help pick a new city manager.
Right.
So they're not going to just kind of fill the seat and you know, they're not going to be on cruise control for the next 8 months.
Right.
They're going to be making some very big decisions.
And you know what? It's almost not fair. It's not fair to the person they appoint. If you have no experience in city council or the city management, and your first thing is to elect the leader, that's basically one of the most important positions. That's not fair to the city and to the residents, and it's not fair to that person because you have no experience. The first year on the council, whether anybody says it or not, and some people deny it because they're cocky enough or so forth, but the first year you're really learning the process. And you're looking, if you're learning, you're reading everything and you're trying to pick up what's going on, and you look for leadership. And in my case, I went through former mayors and asked a lot of advice too. So you make your own opinions, but you get a lot of advice. So this new person coming in can do that. But boy, off the bat, within a couple of months, you're going to vote on the most important decision that basically the city council get. It almost doesn't seem fair to both the person and the city itself.
I don't know how the council is going to agree on somebody, because right now they're split. It's basically 2-2. It's gridlocked. I don't see how Mayor Blanc Pacheco and Councilmember Claudia Fermetta, Councilmembers Mario Trujillo and Catherine Alvarez, how are they going to agree on somebody to fill the seats? And this is just me giving my opinion. I think it makes a lot more sense to appoint somebody who can't run anymore, because you have a neutral person now. Because otherwise you're appointing somebody who's going to have an advantage heading into the November election. And the council knows this, so I don't think they're going to agree on one person to finish Sean's term. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out.
Well, I am too, and it's going to be interesting. There's 3 people. I mean, I've worked with Blanca Pacheco in the past on many things, and Claudia Fermenta. I worked with Mario Trujillo on the Downtown District Improvement Association on there, and him and I have been working on the downtown, and we have some similar visions for the downtown and economic development. So I know that their heart's in the right place on doing that. And obviously Catherine Alvarez is a whole different story, but we've talked enough about that.
You know, well, the next I say big decision, but it's a decision, is going to be determining who's going to be the mayor pro tem. Right now we have we have no mayor pro tem. It would be either Claudia Fermenta, Mar Trujillo, or Catherine Alvarez. When they first discussed this last December, Mar Trujillo had no interest in serving as mayor pro tem. I don't know if he's changed his mind or not. I would say Claudia Fermenta is kind of my natural choice to be mayor pro tem. It might set her up to be mayor again next year. Or they might go with Catherine Alvarez, which would be interesting, considering that there's a recall effort against her. Do you have any?
Well, I think the natural one would be Mario Trujillo, because, you know, I mean, it's really rightfully Henry Mayor Pro Tem would be mayor next year, but he made it clear he wanted to be mayor in his 4th year,
Right.
so I think that was his choice, and that's okay. He obviously has that prerogative. Now, from the other one, the only one I'm going to lobby against is, you know, Catherine Alvarez. I'm sorry, there's still a recall. There's still like I said, the validity of that many people signing a recall petition. I hope the rest of the council sees that as an indictment against her, which it is. The residents in her district say enough of it. Just because there was 35 signatures short doesn't mean that that's not what it should have happened.
Right.
And they could still go forward. So there's enough, thing to say, don't do this now.
Right.
And
we still have Blanca Pacheco running for assembly, and we have we have the city manager Gilbert Levis in his final months.
Yeah.
There's a lot of instability right now.
It's a lot. But you know what? I pray for our city. Our residents, I think with our podcast, at least our residents will be a little bit more informed.
Right.
So, and that's the purpose of this podcast too. So send us your ideas and your thoughts, and we'll gladly share them or talk about them. But this is why we wanted to get this out, because most people, and this is a good thing. I always used to say, and we talk about it, there's 115,000 people in the city of Downey, and the majority of people are happy. They're living their lives. We got good public safety. We got good schools, and we have, good economic development on there, or at least places we want to go and eat and play with. So overall, this is a happy place. Things happen at the council level or at the city that it impacts it all. Everything that happens there impacts everybody, but most residents don't know about it.
Yeah.
And with the gadflies that you have over there, and the discourse of the divisiveness that these gadflies provide, most people in the city don't know that.
No.
If you saw what they did and say, the words that they use, from the N word to even worse thing, believe it or not, it's hard to say worse than the N word, but the things that they say there in public comment, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the council, the residents and people on there, but there's about 4. There's, there's.
I don't like talking about them because they don't deserve the attention. They want the attention, but you're right. It's 4 people. That vast majority of people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
It's not even worth.
The only reason I say them is because when a resident sees them, they can say, "Oh, that's that crazy person."
Right.
You got Herman. You got that other guy. You got that Juan Joey Martinez guy, which is off the deep end, which Catherine listens to. Last week at the council, and I watched only 10 minutes of it. So Joey calls in, there's normal complaining. Joey Juan, his name is Juan, but he likes to be called Joey. Anyways, he calls in at the end. He tells Catherine, pull item number 10 and number 14 from the consent calendar, right? So of course it's all over, and what does Catherine do? She pulls 10 and 14. Well, 14 was an administrative report that had nothing to do with anything, and I forgot what 10 was. But then when it was her turn to explain why she pulled it, she's like, she didn't have a reason. She was just listening to him, which is kind of silly. But anyways, his name is Juan Martinez, and I like people to know, because sometimes if you see him out there and you start listening to him, you're like, oh, that's the crazy person.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we'll keep on top of all the developments happening in Downey. We wanted to film this podcast because it's important news happening right now in Downey, and we want to, one, inform, but also we want to spur that conversation. I like that people are, sharing their opinions, and as it should be.
People listen to the Downey Patriot, so thank you for sharing this information and getting it out. That's why, a local paper provides such a great service in our community. And, Eric and I know enough people throughout our community that's why we're doing this, because we want you to be informed. But the Downey Patriots, week in and week out, right now I'm going to go watch the online version of the paper and see. But thank you for what you guys keep doing. Stay on top of it, okay?
Absolutely.
Great.
Thanks, Mario.
All right, great.
Follow us on Facebook. Follow us our podcast on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, and thank you for listening.
Yep. We're still on Spotify, right?
Still on Spotify.
And we're still on Apple on there, okay? Watch us and Joe Rogan. No, I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. I thought there. But anyways, we're on where all your podcasts are, and thank you for watching. Send us your thoughts and ideas or things you want us to talk about. We got a couple good shows that we've already taped that are coming up, and this one here, we wanted to get out current information to you. So God bless, and thank you. Go Downey.